If you're moving to Oklahoma City from a larger metro area, you might be surprised about the selection of townhomes and condos here in our area, and this might completely change how you are searching for your home. I'm Katie Kuriakos, your local realtor here in the Oklahoma City metro area, and today in this video we're going to be talking about townhomes and condos versus single family homes here in the Oklahoma City area. We're going to dive deep into different lifestyles of each, HOA dues, what you should be looking out for, how it differs from city to city, all the things that you're going to need to know. By the end of this video, you should be able to know if a townhome, condo, or a single family home in Oklahoma City is the right choice for you. All right, so let's first start with what is a townhome or a condo. For just some simplicity's sake of this video, I'm actually going to be lumping those two together. Now, there are some differences between townhomes and condos. If you do a deep dive, there are definitely some differences between the two. For the sake of this video, we're going to lump them into one and compare them to single family homes here in Oklahoma City. So when we're talking about, we'll just say condos, really we're talking about townhomes and condos. A condo is something, it's a residence where a lot of times you are maybe sharing a wall with a neighbor. It is a community where HOA dues are the same throughout and the HOA rules are the same. And it is a community where homes are not on their own yard. Everything is pushed together. You're often one by one, sometimes multi-level as well. And you're going to be sharing 1, 2, maybe 3 walls with neighbors. Okay, so let's get into what the selection looks like if you're looking for a townhome or a condo in Oklahoma City. There are a lot of other cities out there, especially large metropolitan areas, where buying a condo is extremely normal, or buying an apartment or a townhome, something with some shared walls. And it's very common, and that's just kind of what the choices are. Now, the selection in Oklahoma City is vastly different. So in Oklahoma, land is much cheaper than it is in other states. Oklahoma City has tended to grow outward versus upward, if you know what I'm saying. So with that in mind, our selection of townhomes and condos is actually very minimal. You're going to see a ton of single family homes for sale, but don't fret, we'll kind of go into what your options are and what that looks like, so stay with me here. Now, if you're a numbers person, I actually wrote down some numbers this morning to put this in a little bit of perspective for you, so excuse me while I look over here at my computer. So in the last 6 months, almost 13,000 homes have been sold in the Oklahoma City metro. That's including Oklahoma City and the suburbs around it, about 13,000. Now, if we look at townhomes and condos, only 350 have been sold. So that right there tells us that a ton more single family homes exist rather than townhomes and condos. Now, looking this morning when I pulled up the numbers, there are 115 condos for sale and only about 75 townhomes for sale. That's only 190 properties that are for sale that are not, your standard single family home, which is wild. So as you can see, we are definitely a city and a state where single family homes are dominant. Now, if you are coming from a really large metro area and that is what you know and you love, we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about what the selections are and what we kind of need to be thinking of. But with that in mind, we do need to realize and accept the fact that if we are coming from another city and we are really, really wanting more of a condo vibe, our selections are just going to be limited, especially if you are wanting a really certain part of the city. You're like, I want a condo and I want it near downtown. I might only be able to show you maybe half a dozen to a dozen properties, and that's the only choices we have. Now, with Oklahoma City growing and expanding and just kind of having a really large growth spurt over the last decade or so, when I think of the future of Oklahoma City, we have grown out a ton, and what we are seeing is some growth up too. Our downtown has greatly expanded, so many new developments, just a lot is happening. Now, with that, I think we will see quite a bit more of these pop up over the next decade or so with our growth up. And I think that'll be a really great thing for people coming from other cities who maybe are used to more of that condo lifestyle, and that is what they are wanting to keep. They're like, I've never mowed a lawn before and I don't plan to start now. I need that same style of living. I think it's coming. We just have to be patient for that. So let's start a little bit about pricing. What does pricing look like for condos here in the Oklahoma City area? Again, when I say condos, I'm talking about townhomes and condos. I'm gonna kind of lump them together just because there's not very many here and they are rather similar. So when I pulled up the stats this morning, there was 190 properties like that for sale. Now, when I do a little bit of a deeper dive, almost 120 of those properties were all under $200,000. So when we are looking at all of these properties, we really don't see consistency over a large price range. What we see is a ton in a lower price range. And then the rest, which is a smaller amount, we see a little bit scattered throughout that, like 300 to 900,000, but that's really our lowest of all. And then we see a little bit of a spurt over $1 million, right? Those are kind of like our luxury condos. So we have those as well. You'll see those luxury ones in like the Nichols Hills area, close to downtown, midtown area. Now, when I say luxury condos, when I looked this morning, there was only about 20 of them. So we have to realize, again, inventory is very limited, selection is slim. They do exist though, for sure. Now, going back to that lower price point of condos, this is where we see the biggest amount of them, probably under like that 200 to 250 price point. You can even find some in Oklahoma City under 100,000. Like I'm talking like 80 to 100,000, which is wild to like find any sort of livable property like that these days, right? That price point doesn't really exist anymore, but it does in the condos, in the condo area. I have seen some people either buy these for their personal residences. Now, if it's a complex that allows some investment property options, that's an option too. I've had a client where we've bought some units in a condo complex and she's rented them out for Airbnb as well as kind of like a long-term rental and short-term rentals. Like think rentals like people staying a month or two at a time. So there are some options there. I know she gets a lot of nurses that come, traveling nurses that need a place to stay for a month and they will rent those out. Now, there are HOA requirements and things like that. Not every complex is going to allow that. So just keep those things in mind. But there are a heavy amount of condos that are lower price point. Now, something I will say with that, when we think of condos at a lower price point, we have to also recognize that they're probably not the fanciest either, and the entire complex is probably not the fanciest. If you're looking for something a little more on the bougie side, you're not gonna find it in a condo for 150,000, okay? It's just not there. That's not the vibe you're gonna get. You're gonna have to go up to higher price points. All right, let's talk a little bit about the pros and cons as well. Before we get too deep in that, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, click that bell for notifications too. If you're thinking about moving to the Oklahoma City area and you want to stay up to date on all there is that is happening, neighborhood tours, market stats, what the city is really like to live in, click on that bell for notifications so you can be alerted every time a new video drops. Okay, let's first get into the pros of choosing a condo or a townhome. First of all, I would say it's that there's a lot lower maintenance with those items. Many of them here in the Oklahoma City metro are maintained on the inside by the homeowner and on the outside by the condo complex. So think of it this way. If your sink faucet breaks or you have, I don't know, any sort of like plumbing or electrical, or your fridge breaks or cabinets need repainted or whatever that might be, that's all interior things that need to be done by the homeowner, okay? But let's say the condo complex is hit by a massive hailstorm and needs a new roof, or the siding on the outside or the brick, whatever it may be, is damaged or deteriorating. That is then put on the condo complex to do that. They have their insurance and they file it as, you know, they're basically the owners of that part of the structure, which is a really nice thing for people who are not wanting to do a ton of maintenance. Also, yard work is often done by the condo complex as well. So if you're someone who's like, I will never mow a lawn, I would 100% have someone paid to do it because it's not me, that's a great option there. They should be taking care of all of the landscaping, the yard work, the sidewalks, the parking, all of that sort of thing. Okay, so that's a really good low maintenance feature of living in a condo. Also, condos and townhomes are usually in pretty desirable, easy to access areas of the city. So there might be some walkability that comes into play, or just really easy access to get where you're going. They're usually near main streets. They're not tucked back away in a neighborhood, and that provides some good accessibility for people. They're also really great for people that are used to city living and that really want that lifestyle, and maybe people that really want a sense of community too. You're probably going to get to know your neighbors pretty well. Maybe those condos will have, community events and things like that you might not get with a really large neighborhood where you don't have someone just right next door to you. There may also be some amenities that come along with your HOA. Maybe there's walking trails, maybe there's a community pool, maybe there's a community gym. This really is going to vary from complex to complex, especially are you in a luxury complex or are you more in a lower price point? I've even seen some though that are in lower price points and still do have that community pool, which is really great. There might be some good perks and amenities that come along with living in these. Okay, so it wouldn't be fair just to talk about the positives, so we're going to talk about the negatives too, the cons of living in a condo or a townhome. Like I said earlier, selection is slim, so that's our first one. If you are adamant that this is the type of property that you want to buy, your options are going to be extremely limited. While I could show you a million single family homes to purchase, I may only be able to show you a small amount of these type of units to purchase. So you would be stuck with whatever there is available. Number two for the cons is a really big one. While purchase price of a condo can be much less than a single family home, the HOA dues can be much, much more. For instance, you can easily find a condo for about $150,000 in Oklahoma City, but finding a single family home for that amount is going to be rather difficult without it being an extreme fixer-upper. So while we can find a condo for a lesser purchase price, the HOA dues are going to be much, much higher. While in a single family home, you might pay HOA dues of a couple $100s a year, condos are going to be much higher. Think there's many complexes in that $100,000 to $200,000 range that might be anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 a year, which when you break it down monthly, breaks down to quite a lot. Now, in our luxury townhomes, I'm thinking there's a complex here in Nichols Hills that is fantastic and it is true luxury, but the HOA dues are about 10 grand a year. So you really have to be careful about how much your monthly payment is really going to look like. Now, you might save a little bit of money in your insurance costs because insurance premiums for condos and townhomes might be less because they're not covering roof and the exterior and all that sort of thing. However, those HOA dues are going to add up. So you have to include that in your budget. Some other cons might be that there is a smaller square footage. Oftentimes condos are smaller. Also, there's going to be quite a bit less privacy. Keep in mind you're going to have people on the other side of the walls. Now, they are insulated quite a bit better than maybe your standard home, but that's something to keep in mind. There are going to be people on each side or in front of your front door, that sort of thing. Not quite as much privacy, a lot more privacy with a single family home where you have a yard surrounding your home. Also, there might be stairs involved too. Some of our condo complexes are 2 or 3 stories. So if that's not something you're looking for, you'd then again be limited to looking for a first floor condo or a single family home. We also need to keep in mind that condos and townhomes may not be the best for really large families, especially those with a lot of kids. Not only are they going to be smaller, but they just might not be conducive to that, as well as families with pets. Now, with a single family home, you might have a large fenced backyard where you can just let your dog out the backyard and let them back in when they're done. But if you don't have a large fenced backyard, you may be stuck going out with that pet as well. Now, some condo complexes I've seen here in the city do have maybe like a small courtyard that you get off of your back door, and maybe even a small fence around it, which could be really nice as well. Not big, but a little bit of room for the dog to do their business. So when we're thinking about like who really would benefit or who would choose a condo here in Oklahoma City, I'm thinking, young professionals that want to be in the heart of downtown, or maybe those coming from large cities who are really used to that lifestyle. People who really want walkability and stay in all the action, that sort of thing, where they can just walk out their front door and walk to downtown, midtown, that type of thing. And our biggest group, I would say, is people who are just wanting low maintenance, people that are seeking out not having to mow the lawn, not having to replace the roof when it's time for that. So as we can see, single family homes really dominate Oklahoma City's metro area, and there is a lot of different options to choose from there. So even if you kind of had your heart set on a condo or a townhome, there are a lot of other options too that can give you a similar feel. Or you might just be surprised with what you really can afford here in Oklahoma City with an entire single family home, especially if you're coming from a city where prices are much, much higher. I've had people come here, their home out in Los Angeles that is worth $1 million, they can actually get that same exact home here for $400,000. So they're very pleased with those prices. So then in the end, they decide to go for a single family home and just hire out the gardener or hire out the guy to come do the landscaping and the lawn and that sort of thing, because there's money left in their pocket to do so. Whatever it may be for you, it really comes down to like where you want to live in the city, what that location looks like, and what your lifestyle looks like as well. And we can definitely find options that really suit that lifestyle. Hey, again, if you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to my channel and click that bell for notifications. That's going to alert you when there's a new video up, and we're going to talk about the Oklahoma City market, the metro area, what's coming, neighborhood tours, you name it. We're going to give you a really good feel of what it feels like to live here in Oklahoma City. I get calls and texts and emails every single day from people just like you looking to make that move here to Oklahoma City. So if that sounds like you, drop down to the description below where you can find all of my contact information. Whether you're moving months from now or tomorrow, whatever it may be, across the country, across the world, I'm here to make your move as seamless as possible.